Hello, and welcome to another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, Lizzie. On today's episode, I'm going to share with you an update about last week. So let's talk about it. So on Friday, you heard me talk about when I talked to my dad and how I felt. I am now officially no contact with my mom. I terminated all contact with her. She has been told that she is no longer allowed to have any contact with me or my children, not to send letters, cards, gifts, or money, and that this is goodbye. When I tell you I felt at peace, no regret, no second guessing, I mean that. Mama Bear mode was activated, and I decided to take care of my children. If I just had to worry about taking care of my mental and physical well-being, I would have no problem being in low contact with her and have her let her see my kids 3 times a year. But because of the truth coming out and finding out that she manipulated her own child into believing that how do I put that? So because she was able to interfere in my relationship with my father the way that she did, there's nothing stopping her from doing that to my children. And I'm very open with my kids. We talk about everything, and mind you, age appropriate. Okay, my kids, range from they're under 10 to teenagers, so it's all age appropriate conversation. And I want to make it very clear that I don't want to give her the opportunity to manipulate my children in any way, shape, or form. I mean, my kids have me and my husband to talk to. They have parents who are there to listen. I didn't have that. And I didn't have that. I had an emotionally unavailable father because he went from being a married working dad to a single working dad. And then he was in a relationship with somebody, and it was really hard. Whenever I would try to talk, it was never taken into consideration. And not like he dismissed it more than he disregarded me. So it was like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but he had no idea what to do and how to make it better. And I don't think he was really interested in that time to make it better, because it would mean being alone. And I don't think he was ready for that yet. As an adult and as a parent and as someone who's married, I can see where he was coming from. I can understand where he was. It doesn't excuse his behavior, but it does help me be a better parent to my children and make sure they know that their voices are heard and their opinion matters. I'm trying really hard to make sure they know that their opinion matters, that their feelings matter, that they will be taken into consideration. And but I have to make sure that I do everything I can to protect them from something I can see coming. I know I can't protect them from everything. I know I can't control everything. And I'm learning that, and I'm letting that go, that need to control, that need to protect them from all bad things in the world. because I can't do that. They have to experience some hard things in order to grow as humans and to learn. And the best thing I can do is just be that safe space for them to come to and to talk to about it. I have not talked to them about what's going on between me and their grandmother because I don't know how. What do I say? How do I talk about this with my youngest? How do I talk about this with my oldest? The middle child will be confused and probably a little bit indifferent at first. Come to me later with questions because that's how he processes. But it's scary, it's hard, and I worry about how it's going to affect them. At the same time, I know I'm doing what I have to do to protect my kids. I have to make sure that she doesn't have access and the ability to manipulate my children. This isn't something that was done once in my life. This was done multiple times. I was really programmed to believe that my mother was the only person on the planet that cared about me, that accepted me for who I was, that loved me. And I was conditioned to believe that without even thinking about it. It was just there. And my dad's relationship with me was already on the rocks, so she really didn't have to do what she did. It was already not great. So she didn't have to push the envelope like she did, but she did to ensure she got what she wanted. She did the same thing. I'm almost positive she did the same thing with my high school boyfriend. She did it multiple times in multiple ways, and I never understood it because I would see it and I would just tell people, you hear all these guys afraid of, like, do you need to worry about your dad? And it's like, no, my dad's will act tough, but he's a big teddy bear. He's a marshmallow. You worry about my mom. I always knew my mom was scary. I always knew my mom needed to be, feared. But I couldn't tell you where it came from. I couldn't tell you why I told people I was brainwashed from a young age. I couldn't tell you why I told people that I was raised under a rock. I honestly did not know where all these feelings came from. I didn't understand why I was always so angry at her, why I felt hurt, especially after I moved out. I moved back in with my dad to go to college, closer to where he lived at the time. I'm not sure. I couldn't remember. I couldn't figure it out. I thought I was just being overdramatic. I thought I was reading too much into things. I thought I was just being too sensitive. And all of those things come from things I was told as a child, but I don't remember. Not yet. I don't remember yet. The more time I spend away from her, the clearer my mind gets and the more memories that come through. I realized the other day that I don't remember what she looks like. My mom. I can barely remember her voice. When I try to think about what she looks like, it's like trying to see your reflection in water that's moving. It's distorted. And that's what I see. And I think it's because I saw her as my mother, as my protector, as someone who loved me. But now the mask is gone and I see her for who she is. And I don't know how to make sense of that. Not yet. Realizing that my mom was the monster all along is terrifying. And to be very clear, we will get into talking about the past. I will get into talking about me and my dad's relationship. My dad and I, we went through a lot. We did. And it was a really difficult relationship. And I will talk about it with the clarification, with this notion. My dad and I have worked through all of our past issues. We have a good relationship now because he has taken accountability and responsibility for the things he did wrong while raising my brother and I. It has changed into a different man. He is a great husband, a good father. I watch him really fight for his kids and love his children and listen to his children. And even me now as an adult, he's there for me. So I want to be very clear that when I talk about the past, it's about how I felt then. It's about how it affected me in that moment. It is no longer how I feel now, and it no longer affects me the way it did back then. My dad and I have worked really hard to have the relationship that we have now. I think the hardest part for me is realizing that my mom and I will never have that. She can't hold herself accountable for her actions. She can't see how she's wrong. She can't see that things that she did caused me pain. It's all about how it affected her and why she did what she did, and that I need to just deal with it. And that's not how it's supposed to be. I never thought I would learn how an adult relationship with a parent is supposed to be for my father and I's growth. If you told me that 10 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. Because I never thought I would really learn what it's supposed to look like from him. But the way him and I communicate, the way we talk, it's so nice to know that he's my friend when I need him to be my friend, and he's my dad when I need him to be my dad. And I am so grateful for that. Also, so to add on, last week I got my ears pierced. I don't know what else I did because I went to work. I didn't keep track of anything. I didn't keep track of anything I did. I journaled. I wrote a poem. I drew a couple pictures. I'm trying to find my artistic bone. I used to write poetry a lot, so being able to journal again has helped. Doing this podcast helps. I want to get back into drawing. I used to draw trees. I love drawing trees, but now I'm trying to get really better about umbrellas and trying to perfect that, and drawing boots. Don't ask me why. I drew it once, I think a year ago, and I'm I need to draw this every day. I need to draw this until I get it right. So that's where I'm at right now. I am almost ready to start the artistic process on how I want to do a tattoo. There's a tattoo I want that's unique, a little bit unique, that I want done, and I'm really looking forward to that. I gotta make sure I have all of it together so I can take it down to a tattoo place and get their artistic spin on it. It was a good week. Hard truths, but it was a good week. I am happy. I am at peace. I finally feel free. I actually talked to my 20-year-old self this morning and was like, look, we finally did it. We moved away from her. We are no longer talking to her. We are free to be who we are. We did it. And I thanked her for not giving up. I thanked her for holding on to that tiny glimmer of hope, that tiny light at the end of that tunnel. Because without her hanging on, without her not giving up and holding on and fighting, I wouldn't be here. To be clear, I am happy in my life. I'm happy with myself right now. I'm happy with who I'm becoming. I'm not happy that it had to happen without her in my life. I will always love her. But I have grieved the mother I used to know for a really long time. I didn't think I would get to a place where I could accept that this is who she is. And I'm here. I made it. Now, like I said, when you're going through the stages of grief, you can be all the way to where you think you're good at acceptance and not be thrown right back into anger and depression. And I know that I'm going to be going through these stages of grief for a while. I hate that I have found me and I am finding happiness and peace in my life at the cost of a relationship with her. But I will say this. It's worth it to me. It's worth who I'm becoming as a person, as a mother, as a wife, and as a friend. It is worth everything I'm giving up to get to where I want to be. I am proud of myself. And I am proud of any one of you out there listening to this. For fighting, for not giving up, for still being here. Even when you don't want to be. And if you had to make a choice and do something that you didn't want to do but knew it was the right thing to do and the best thing for you to do, I am so proud of you. And I hope you're proud of yourself too. Thank you for listening. And I hope you will join me next time for another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, Lizzie.